Velkommen alle sammen. Kunnskap lunsj, emotional footprints. Alberto Sols, professor. Så har dessverre da Londonposten ikke fått med at foredraget foregår på engelsk. De har kuttet i det. Så jeg håper at de fleste her kan såpass engelsk at de får med seg det han sier. Så da er det bare å ønske velkommen til Alberto. Kos dere.
Thank you. Tusen takk. God formiddag, and tusen takk again. My name is Alberto. I come from Spain, and jeg snakker litt norsk, so I'm sorry I'll have to do this presentation in English. And before I start, can I possibly ask you to look on that direction out of the window, please? Beautiful landscape, right? White. Okay, keep that in mind, because this is going to be the opposite to what you will see today. I'd like to share with you a very personal story. I guess we all have had very memorable moments in our life, some things that became somehow a turning point for us, and this is one of these very few experiences that really meant a lot to me. And I want to share it with you. And this is connected with a route I followed a number of years ago. I've been doing several times, same as Gunnar Berge here, he has also been there, to this pilgrim's path or pilgrim's route to Santiago, a route that pilgrims used to follow many hundred years ago on pilgrimage to where the Apostle Santiago is supposed to be buried. People do it today for many different reasons, not necessarily religious reasons. And I've been there several times, and it became somehow a routine to walk and to do a number of things every day. But one day, the unexpected happened, and this is the story I want to share with you. So, you enter Spain through Roncesvalles. This is a town on the Pyrenees, on the French border, and from there, you walk through the so-called French path, about 750 kilometers till you arrive to Santiago. Along the way, you go through small towns, different parts of the country, not as wide as these ones, and normally, across this path, you have different refuges or shelters where the pilgrims can sleep, can have some food, can take a shower, and get a little rest. So this was August 2010, 6 years ago it's going to be, this summer, 6 years ago, and this is at Roncesvalles, and I looked fresh because I was just about to start. So I looked good at that moment. So I started walking. And at first you go through these dense forests, very green, very beautiful in the northeastern part of Spain. And you're also very fresh yourself, you're in very good condition, and you enjoy everything. So you're really happy to go. For some reason, I was making those days many kilometers per day. I was doing close to 40 kilometers per day with a 10-kilo backpack. So the first days, you don't really notice much. But of course, gradually you start to feel things in your legs, on your back, everywhere in your body. But the road was really beautiful, so I was really enjoying my way, and you have these sunny days, and then these green landscapes, and even the flowers, the sunflowers seem to be smiling to you. So you're really very happy as you're making your way. But of course, you come, walking very slowly, so I'll use my hands instead. And you come to places like this, to these albergues, to these shelters or refuges, where you would spend the night. And there would be a person there, and normally, and I'm not criticizing that, they would simply say, okay, it's like 6 or 12 or however many euros, multiplied times 10 would be krona, for you to sleep here. You can get a stamp in case you want to collect the stamps along the way. And there are the toilets, and there are the showers, and here is a small kitchen if you want to cook some food and have some dinner. And there are many bunk beds where you can hopefully get some sleep unless other people are snoring or getting too early and making noise with their backpacks. So it's a nice atmosphere, but you not always get to rest as much as you would like. But you meet other people from many countries, going there for many different reasons, motivations, and it's a good atmosphere, and you enjoy these little encounters that you have with different people. And the volunteers that are running these shelters or the refugees, they just do their job, and that's okay. Sometimes they give you some little information. If you need a pharmacy in town, you can find it here. If you need perhaps to do some shopping, you can buy some groceries there. That's about what they do. So I kept walking, and now the forests were gone, so now you come to the central part of the country, and this was in summer, pretty warm, so you're starting to sweat a lot every single day that you walk, and you come through these isolated villages. Sometimes you just need to stop and have a break. I look very serious here, not because I was angry or upset, simply because I was tired, and I had to have a break and eat some cookies or something so that I could continue to walk. And you continue to walk, and sometimes there are these endless roads or paths, and as you see, not a shadow. You have the scorching sun above you, and you walk hour after hour on these dusty roads, and you're really getting tired. Normally, people end up having all sorts of problems, whether it is blisters, or in this case, I had something, I don't know what sort of a small creature in one of these shelters bite me, and I had this infection in the leg. So these are the classical things that you as a pilgrim end up collecting along the way, and you walk with them, but you are happy because you keep going. And I said, sometimes you just see this endless road ahead of you. If you need to drink water, you have to carry it with you, otherwise you have nothing. There is no place where you can buy it or any food, so whatever you need to have, you have to carry with you, and you keep walking. And sometimes you end up sharing little secrets, if you wish, or or some experiences with other people along the way. And I don't remember exactly where it happened, but someone told me, before I came to this point in central part of the Iberian Peninsula, make sure you stop at the old hermitage of Puentecítero. This is a very, very, very small place, really in the middle of nowhere, totally isolated. If you look at any guides, you tend to stop at those places where there is a village, because that means access to groceries or to a pharmacy. But this whole hermitage is in the middle of nowhere. It's not close to anything, so there is absolutely nothing there. But I was told, make sure you stop there. Okay, I'll do that. So I replanned my route a little bit so that I was going to be more or less making this many kilometers and stopping that day. And that's the way this whole hermitage looked when I approached it. So it's really this building in the middle of nowhere. It has nothing, as you see. There's no grid there, no electricity, really, no nothing. And I said, well, we'll see what is inside, because I was told, make sure you stop there. So when I'm approaching, and I had been walking that day like any other day, maybe 8 hours, 9 hours. By this day, I had already put about 450 kilometers on my legs, so I was feeling pretty tired. And in these days, very heavy sun, high temperatures. Even if you drink, you come almost dehydrated and sweating and covered with dust, so you're really in a very miserable condition. I was not the person anyone would like to hug that day, definitely. But this Italian guy comes out. Italian and Spanish are very similar languages, not as close as Norwegian and Swedish, but they're reasonably similar. If we speak slowly, we understand each other. So this guy comes, I immediately notice he's Italian. He says, my name is Claudio, welcome here. He gives me a hug. I said, well, that's a different welcome to the one I'm normally used to here. And he said, as you see, this place is very humble. We don't have anything. Try to make yourself comfortable. Behind this, you will see it in another picture, because this is a very old place. This is several centuries old. We have built, an association of friends of this pilgrimsrute to Santiago, we have built a small little house, and we have with a solar panel, so we have a little water deposit. Maybe you can take, if not a complete shower, because there is not much water, maybe at least you can try to clean yourself up a little bit. Get some rest, and please be ready at 7. So this is the way the newer building looked like. So there's a small toilet there and a place where you could wash yourself. And inside the hermitage, they only had 8 bunk beds. Normally in one of these shelters, several dozen people can sleep. But here, it was only room for 8. Of course, in an emergency, no one was going to be rejected. If more people were to show up, you could always lay your sleeping bag on the floor, whatever it is necessary. But in principle, maximum capacity of this place was for 8. And I was told, please be ready at 7, because we need you. Actually, we were only 7 that day. Please, you need to gather where the old altar was in the hermitage, because we are going to wash your feet. And I thought, what? You're going to wash my feet? So I was shocked. What does that mean? So this is his wife, Claudio's wife, getting ready, and then the following happened. I just took a picture. They put these caps on, and they said, this is to symbolize that it is not just we. We represent the people that in the old days used to welcome the poor pilgrims that arrived, not as you did today. You say you are with some problems, but those people came really in very, very, very poor conditions. Sick, tired, hungry, everything. So our ancestors used to welcome these people the best way they could, and one of the things that they used to do for those poor people was to really, literally speaking, wash their feet. So this was a symbolic thing. They just poured a little bit of water with a jar over our feet, and then they dried them up with a towel. But the discourse on the caps they were wearing had a lot of symbolism. It was representing the way they really wanted to welcome us, receive us, look after us, and treat us. So I was starting to feeling something different, nothing like that I had ever felt in any of these places. And as I tell you this, and as I share these memories with you, and I look again at the pictures, I can feel electricity again around my body and feeling these goosebumps, because it's really a very emotional thing. So after this happened, Claudio was there with his wife and two teenagers, two kids they had, and they said, as you see, we don't have anything here. There's no electricity, no nothing, but we have a small camping gas, so we're going to put some water to boil, and we're going to cook some pasta for you. So when you're really tired and hungry, an Italian cook says they're going to cook Italian pasta for you, that sounds like heaven. So I couldn't be any happier with everything. So this is the way our dinner table looked like. There was still daylight, so you can see some light coming through that open door. But apart from that, we just had to rely on a few candles because there was no electricity inside. So we had this fantastic dinner that they had prepared, very humble dinner, but it was the atmosphere that really made the difference. So they shared with us the little that they had, and we felt like in any other place. That was a really fantastic experience. And during dinner, mainly Claudio, he was sharing with us many legends and stories and things about the pilgrim's to Santiago, when and why it originated, and things that have happened, and all these things. So it was really a fantastic moment. So when not just me, when the rest of the people at some stage will said, okay, thank you for everything, this has really been awesome, but we should be getting some rest, so we're going to hit our sleeping bags, and thanks again for everything. And they simply asked, so when do you intend to leave tomorrow? And I thought it was only curiosity. So I said, well, 5:30 in my case. Some other people would say maybe 6 or 7, whenever, different people, different times for leaving. And I thought, well, it's just maybe curiosity. They just want to know when we are going to be leaving. And I thanked them again and went to my sleeping bag. And before I fall asleep, I thought, these people are really something. I've never been received like that before. I've never been treated like that before. This is really amazing. But the best was yet to happen. So when I got up next morning at 5:30, the family was already awake. They were there. And they had prepared a very humble breakfast with what they had. And they said, and this made sense, of course, all the sense, we are not going to be having breakfast with you, because we would have to have 7 breakfasts with every other pilgrim, but we are going to be sitting with you while you have breakfast, so we keep you company. So I felt that was really nice. We spoke in loud voice because we didn't want to wake up the other people who were still sleeping. We just had a quick breakfast and seen a few things. And when I had finished my breakfast, I asked them again, I didn't mention it earlier, but I asked them, so how much is it? Because that's the very first thing that you are told when you arrive to any other place. This is going to be 15 euros or anything like that. And they said, oh, no. No need to pay anything. If you wish to donate any money, you can do that. There's a box over there. We don't charge anything. So it's whatever you feel, whatever you decide. We don't ask for anything. So, and again, I thought, these people are really something. But I finished my breakfast. I get up. I intend to say goodbye, farewell, and go and pick my back up and put it on. And then I see that these guys are also standing up. So now I'm curious. And they go somewhere. And they put their caps on again. And I feel I wouldn't touch any of you because I'm fully charged with electricity at this point in time. And I thought, what is going to happen? So I didn't ask, but I was looking like with some anxiety, what is coming next? And more or less they say, we come out together with you. Remember, there was people still sleeping, so they couldn't say anything out loud. So we walk out of the hermitage, and of course it was pretty dark. So you don't see anything. Well, you see here a little grass, someone was carrying a front light, and this is the sky. Dark sky, it was still early in the morning, 5:30, so you only see a little light down here. So we couldn't see anything. We were out of the hermitage, dark night, stars above in the sky, and these guys come out with me with their caps on, these brown caps that represent what their ancestors did in the past for the pilgrims. And Claudio opens a sort of a book and reads a prayer, not a religious thing. It's I don't remember the exact words, but he was saying something like, as a pilgrim in life, we wish you the best and we hope that sun will be with you and all these sort of things. So as I was listening to that, I really felt, wow, I can still have that feeling all around my body. So I felt that they had really touched me deep inside. So when he finished saying that, he closed the book, came and gave me a sincere hug and said, all the best. And then his wife came, gave me a hug and said, all the best in life. And then the two kids came and hugged me and said, all the best to you in life. And I don't remember exactly, but I believe I couldn't say a single word because of the emotion. So I was about to cry. So I simply thanked them again and said farewell, and I left. And as I was walking, and as I started walking, leaving from this old hermitage, I thought to myself, I had plenty of hours to walk that day again, and plenty of thoughts with me in that moment. How many people we meet in life, and after we cease to see them, let's say we don't miss them too much. Many people don't really leave any impression on us, and maybe it has to be that way. And sometimes we meet some other people that for whatever the reason, even though we may have only met them for a short period of time, maybe just a few hours, happens as it happened to me with these people. I'll never forget this family. I'll never forget the way I was treated. I'll never forget the lesson they taught me. Not speaking, but through practice, leading with example. So I was walking, and probably you could have done the same today. If you were walking today as you were coming here, if you look back, you can see the footprints you leave behind on the snow or in the sand. But I'm talking about the different footprint now. The emotional footprint that these people left on me. And then I asked to myself, what kind of emotional footprints am I leaving on the people I meet in my life? I cross paths with many people in life, so what impression do I leave on them? Not that I try to be or pretend to be friends with everyone. That's not the idea, that's not the intention. But it's simply the way you treat people makes a difference. If, as these people did, you put your heart and soul into what you do, not pretending anything, not seeking anything, as an exchange, simply do it out of your heart, that makes a total difference. And that day I decided, as I continued my pilgrimage walking, I'll really try to leave the same sort of emotional footprints on the people I meet in my life. Thank you.